I've gotten a lot of questions regarding what brain coaching is and exactly how it works. So this video will hopefully clear things up. Brain coaching has one very simple mission: to eliminate unnecessary stress and help you achieve life goals you never thought possible. How do we do this? Well, being a psychotherapist has taught me a lot about behavior management, emotions, and stress. So I've designed a modality that is meant for the majority of the population who suffer not from mental illness, but from chronic stress. I like to think of it as psychotherapy for people that aren't psycho and don't need therapy. What does that look like? Well, that's easy. Let's start with the tip of the iceberg. This is life as you know it. On the surface, you have what shows up on a daily basis, and this is you. Mentally, physically, and emotionally. These things make up who you are, your personality, demeanor, all that good stuff. What brain coaching does actually focuses on what lies beneath the surface. More often than not, there are things going on in life that constantly affect our personality, demeanor, and even how we interact on a day-to-day basis. One major factor that I often hear complaints about is stress. So many times we have good intentions about our habits, our nutrition, and our interactions, which can all be thwarted by a stressful day, a difficult situation, or unforeseen circumstances. It may even feel like you're not in charge anymore, and that your plans have been thrown out the window. All because we're simply looking for a way to make it all go away, or at least feel a little better in the meantime. So what ends up happening is we find a way to alleviate feelings of stress in the short term, but these things have long-term negative side effects. This can range from eating comfort food to smoking and drinking. It then creates secondary side effects like disturbing sleep habits, decreasing motivation, or shifting focus away from those healthy habits we partake in when we're at the top of our game, which eventually can lead to dysregulated immune system functioning and illness. Here's the most interesting part. So many personal empowerment programs out there completely discount the fact that stress greatly impacts all of our decisions and habits. Food and nutrition are great examples. Instead of feeling like you're in complete control of food choices under stress, your body automatically craves sugar and fat. This is because they naturally boost dopamine, the reward chemical in your brain. And when you're stressed out, the dopamine response to eating these comfort foods is even higher. Not fair, right? So even if you know what to do, you may feel like you just can't do it. Or you're too busy, you're craving something unhealthy, or you'll come up with some other kind of reason to forgo the decisions you know are best for you. This is normal. What else is normal is that your energy level may decrease, thus downshifting your activity level into first gear, where your body doesn't really feel like moving, but your mind won't stop. Again, you know what you should do, and you know why you should do it, but things just seem to get in the way. And motivation is even harder to come by. But here's the real kicker. As if you weren't dealing with enough already, your immune system becomes dysregulated and you're super susceptible to getting sick. Best part is, you probably know how to stay healthy, but when your habits aren't exactly the best, and they're exacerbated by cutting back on sleep, which is the thing your body needs the most, likely because of the stress itself, you then end up relying on other things to overcompensate. A lot. So it's no wonder we show up as a somewhat irritable, tired, cranky, ill version of ourselves. It's not because we don't know how to take care of our brains and bodies. It's because of stress. Stress alters all of our natural abilities to function and make good decisions. It causes us to crave unhealthy foods, become more sedentary, and this can eventually lead to illness. It's not like we do this on purpose. You may not realize it, but you probably have a very good idea of what your ideal self looks like. How smart you can be, how well you use your education, and all of the amazing ideas you have. Well, guess what? This person doesn't just exist on the surface. They have a completely different below-the-surface profile. And this is where mind over gray matter comes in. We make this profile achievable, reliable, and ultimately livable. Instead of having this mystical self that only exists in your dreams, we help those dreams come true in very simple yet effective brain-based ways. Check it out. Let's pretend your ideal self has already been achieved in the living flesh. Right here, right now. How did it happen? With our help, you were able to really get to the bottom of your stress. You've even been able to hop in the driver's seat and control coping habits and symptoms. Not only can you perform better, you have a plan that works for you every time. This allows for you to concentrate on more important things, like achieving life goals and following lifelong passions. Not only do you feel less stress, your ideal self is able to really take control of things like food and nutrition, instead of falling into craving-based traps. Using brain-based habit formation techniques, you are actually able to bypass willpower altogether, allowing for healthier habits and overall wellness. No longer is there a constant battle. No longer is there an obsessive co-pilot. Ironically enough, the side effects are pretty awesome. And the benefits are priceless. I have to take a second to explain this one, as most people are confused about why it's necessary to cheat, on your diet, of course. Without going into too much detail, I'll say that allowing yourself a specific time to eat things you normally crave is vital to your success in forming new food-based habits. It may not make sense now, but when you learn more about your brain and how it works, the process becomes very appetizing. Next up, your ideal self has mastered the appropriate activity level, but not in the force yourself to spend hours in the gym sort of way, in the way that utilizes brain-based habit formation. Making sure to include the appropriate components, causing them to hold strong, and create great immediate benefits without a ton of effort. Best of all, your ideal self's immune system functioning is at its best, thanks to a key component of health and well-being that you find out how to boost up, so you don't need to overcompensate as much. You become acutely aware of your cycles and symptomology, which means you're in greater control of the outcome. This is how you become a smarter, healthier, happier, more whole version of yourself. Really, it's not rocket science. It's neuroscience. And your ideal self isn't as far away as you might think. It may feel daunting to shift and change various habits, but if you have the right information, as in something like an owner's manual for your brain and someone to walk you through it, this all becomes very simple. So you might ask yourself, what's keeping me in my life as I know it state? How do I keep from becoming a lesser version of myself and feel lost? Because really, what I want is to fully achieve my ideal self. Well, I'll tell you. There's only one missing link, which will take you from where you are now to the person you know you can be. And that's a simple yet incredibly effective mechanism that's spelled out and achievable, thanks to Mind Over Gray Matter's dedication to making the world a better place, one valuable brain at a time. The best part is, realistically, it's like this. We may act like your life raft and give you all the tools necessary to get from your current self to your ideal self. But ultimately, our goal is to help you realize that eventually you won't need us at all. When we've taught you how to navigate your own stress, your own brain, and utilize your personally designed coping skills, you will begin to recognize that this great big scary ocean was made for you to swim in. And that sometimes you just need a little boost from someone else to help you remember how to get out of your own way. Because you have amazing potential just waiting to be realized. And the only thing standing between your ideal self and the other alternative is how you deal with stress. Because that can make all the difference. So please, contact us. A happier, healthier, less stressed version of you is only a phone call away.